Welcome to Worldview. This is the week of Monday, the 25th of February, 2013, and I'm Denis Campbell. 81 years ago this week, American actress Elizabeth Taylor was born. Austria's Adolf Hitler was granted German citizenship. I bet they wish they had a do-over on that one. And in 1977, the first ever killer whale in captivity birth happened at Marine Land of the Pacific in Los Angeles. Now, I'm sure there's an entire series of jokes in there somewhere, but I digress. We're losing a pope, a cardinal, and as far as we know, the Academy Awards ceremony has finally ended. It was 5:11 this morning here in the UK, and Seth MacFarlane is still talking boobs, babs, Ben, and tons of musicals. Now, we're thrilled to say that Worldview is presented in partnership with UWC Atlantic College here in South Wales, an international school bringing students together from around the globe to study and bring ideas for peace and social justice back to their home nations. And our first segment from the students on the global impact of gay marriage initiatives that are being addressed in parliaments from around the world could air as soon as this week. Now, each week we strive to bring you a more in-depth view of the stories the mainstream media may only have mentioned in passing, if at all. We want to expand your view of what is happening in the larger, broader world that affects us all. Now, last week's lead story was the abdication of Pope Benedict, and we're beginning to get a clearer idea of why, as more scandal racked the church with the resignation this morning of the cardinal here in the UK, and whispers of a large homosexual colony within the clergy is what's likely forcing the Pope to have to address it before he disappears on Thursday. But this week we begin with the passing of a significant milestone anniversary. Last Saturday, 1,000 days passed since the initial incarceration of U.S. Marine Private Bradley Manning at Quantico Base in Virginia. Now, Manning is known for his role in passing along classified documents and later leaked by Julian Assange of WikiLeaks fame. And as Assange begins his 7th month of captivity inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London, not much is known about Bradley Manning. That's why we'll talk with Tom Beardshaw, one of the producers of a play produced live here in Manning's youth home of Haverfordwest, Wales, The Radicalization of Bradley Manning. It was a multimedia performance across the web and live. And Tom joins us from Cardiff to discuss the company's and writer Tim Price's goal to help understand the nature and pattern of bullying in the life of Bradley Manning, and how the current case and cruel and at times torturous incarceration is merely an extension of the bullying he was subjected to in school, during basic training, whilst in the Marine Corps, and now at the hands of his own government. Regardless of your views of his guilt or innocence in the case, you won't want to miss this revealing profile. Now, technical difficulties prevented us from connecting last week with the Reverend Irene Monroe, a frequent contributor to the UK Progressive on LGBTQ and race relations issues. She's going to join us from Boston to discuss the significance of Black History Month in the United States and why LGBTQ people in the African American community face discrimination from an unlikely source, church leaders of their own race. Then we're scheduled to travel via Skype to Tallahassee, Florida for an interview with Renee Miller. Ms. Miller and her husband Tony donated blankets to a local homeless mission. When several of the regulars there that she knew were not given blankets, she became suspicious. She altered her appearance and went undercover to find out why. Now, her experience was chronicled in a BreakthroughAlternet.org article. Soon after her arrival in the shelter, she was propositioned by staff members for sex and uncovered a pattern of sexual abuse amongst those living there in that homeless shelter that has led to a full-blown police investigation, and indeed, people are looking around the world at homeless shelters. Why are the most vulnerable always at the greatest risk? We'll find out. And finally, if you thought Donald Trump was only spending his time picking on Bill Maher and the now infamous $5 million bet, you ain't seen nothing yet. We'll meet the man who started the Dump Trump campaign to have him removed from his rather profitable gig for the department chain store Macy's. Now, more than 1 million signatures have been collected by this young man, and the Donald is fighting mad and threatening to sue. Now, we're still working on stories about the Chinese hacking incidents and others, so that by the end of the week, we could have even more news. But we'd like to thank some truly great folks for helping to bring independent media to the world. The banner and logos behind me were created by Peter Barrier-Thiel, and you can find him at his website, www.peterberthiel, that's peterbertheil.com. And the voiceover voice on our main podcast and taking us into and out of breaks is Gerald Price. You can find his work at www.geraldprice.co.uk. Peter and Gerald have donated their services to help keep independent media free and strong, so please try to help them if you have needs in this area. You can follow us on Twitter at Worldview Show and Facebook.com/Worldview Show. And you can watch clips of our shows on demand anytime on YouTube.com/Worldview Show. In just a few short weeks, we're grateful to the almost 500 subscribers and almost 9,000 of you who viewed and shared our videos. And we'd like to hear from you. Our email address is worldviewshow@gmail.com. Now, coming up next, we interview Tom Beardshaw, multi-platform producer for the play The Radicalization of Bradley Manning. You're watching Worldview with Denis Campbell. Stay right here.